Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Thursday, the 5th of September, 2024. How are you doing today? Are you ready for the weekend? I'm getting ready for the weekend. I want to say thank you to everybody. Look, normalizing atheism. Man, you're wonderful. The people who are watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Twitter. I never streamed to Twitter. I don't know what I'm doing to Twitter. Thank you, everybody out there. You know, that poor unfortunate soul, that YouTube reviewer who has to go back and watch every one of my shows. I feel your pain. I'm sorry that you have to do that. I suggest you get some therapy, maybe. Burn some incense. I don't know. Find a calm place before you watch each show. But thank you for your effort. Good morning, everybody. I am ready. Okay. All right. I'm going to play a thing here because I got to play a thing. And they're all related. Yesterday we had another school incident. We'll do that because I'm going to try to start following, their rules. That way more people get to see my message. If I just kind of say, to hell with it and say whatever I want to, then nobody gets my message because they short my... I gotta say, man, for those of you who are watching, I'm going to play a video. I asked myself, why do they shadow ban me? And then I go watch some of my videos. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why. Okay, I get it. I don't break the rules. I just kind of like bang, 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 bang. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to run this one here because, again, we had another unfortunate incident in the school yesterday, and I blame the conservatives. And the conservatives get their power from the conservative Christians. It's a match made in hell. And this will kind of, if you're wondering about, and I don't understand this, people, my friends, I don't understand why people of faith follow Donald Trump. I don't understand why people who are in or have been in the military follow Donald Trump. Clearly, they don't watch what he does and what he says. They just like what he is. And these particular people, not all vets, not all, obviously, not all of those people, but the ones who follow him clearly, it can't be because they watch him and like what he does and what he says about vets. It's got to just be because of the message of hate that he puts out about the other people in the world that they also hate and like seeing punished. Again, not all vets are like that. I'm speculating there thus. Anyway, here we go. Peep this, my homies. In case you ever wonder. I know you don't wonder, but in case you do, good morning, Orla. How are you doing? So nice of you to join us this morning. I'm going to rant a little bit this morning about the politics. I've also got other stuff. I've got my normal shtick that I was going to play. We're going to talk about which is more violent, polytheistic gods or religions or monotheistic gods and religions. We're going to talk about that, but I just can't. This whole thing. All right.
Evangelicals, Christians of every denomination, and believers of every faith have never had a greater champion, not even close, in the White House than you have right now. I think you know that. Jefferson?
Yes.
Prayer?
Let's pray together, may we?
Yes.
Father, I come to you in the name of Jesus.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
Why do I have to, repent? Why do I have to ask for forgiveness?
Skillful and godly wisdom have entered into the heart of our president.
You ask a lot of stupid questions.
I have never seen a more biblical president than I have seen in Donald Trump.
So right now, let every demonic network...
You are the enemy of the people.
Let it be broken. Let it be torn down in the name of Jesus.
Here is the Republican platform.
And if you don't support me, you're going to be so goddamn poor.
If President Trump is not reelected,
here is the Word of God.
there is going to be a backlash against people of faith like we cannot imagine.
Where do you stand?
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
I watch a man that comes out and fights for righteousness.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
The Pope would have only
wish and pray
Thank you, sir, for uniting our nation and calling us to prayer.
that Donald Trump would have been president.
I think the Pope needs to seek Donald Trump's forgiveness.
He's a pussy. I think God put him there.
Get that son of a bitch off the field.
Let the angel of the Lord encamp around about him.
God raised up, I believe, Donald Trump.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God.
I don't bring God into that picture. I don't. Romans 13 does give President Trump moral authority to use whatever force necessary,
I'm going to bomb the shit out of
You
them.
need to send in 35,000.
including assassination.
This book right here will tell you how to vote.
I'm confident that the Lord is at work here.
Grab him by the pussy.
He's had a change of heart.
Ridiculous bullshit.
If you do not write that P.O. box and you do not call that toll-free number, you're going to write your checks to Paula White Ministry. You will never see sustainment in your life, and your dream will die.
Trump is a test. Whether you're even saved. They can act differently for different people.
Somehow God put him in this position.
And everybody said, amen.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
This is a hoax. This is a terrible hoax perpetrated on our country.
Okay, so there we go. Donald Trump, once again, religion, those people supporting that kind of thing, they support each other, they get power, this notion. But here's the deal. Here's kind of what I want to visit with you folk about. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, it was reported, and I believe it's been confirmed, that I'm gonna go look this up. I was remembering this morning as I was preparing the show. So I'm gonna run a special show this evening, in fact, 6:00 Mountain Time. But anyway, I was thinking about the situation, the shooting yesterday, and the one before that. And if you look at the news, there was an 8-year-old boy who was unalived in his mother's car because she left him in there with a gun. There was a little kid about 5 or 6 years old who was killed by a sibling. Whenever 4 young siblings, all under I think 12, were left at home by the mother who went to the store or something like that. And these are just the past couple of days, not counting Georgia, the shooting in Georgia. And I want to remind people that a few years ago. So here's where I'm going with this. Let me just kind of the TLDR part. This, in my opinion, these deaths are part of Vladimir Putin's war on America. Yeah, not direct, subtle, subterfugal war. You remember a few years back, whenever the Russians were giving money to the NRA and to conservative politicians, and all for the purpose of spreading guns in America, So whenever you think about that, when you stop and logically put those together, it not necessarily directly does Putin link to these unalivements, obviously, clearly. But you can see that you have to ask yourself the question. Here's our question. Now, there's not really, I don't think, a way we can hash out the numbers, but here's the question. Ever since Vladimir Putin and the Russian government began donating to the Conservative Party, individually and the NRA, if that had not happened, if you could take that amount of away, and you can't, right? You can't figure out the numbers, but how many Americans would not have been unalived had that happened? Had that not happened? Had Russia and Putin not infused? And even then, whenever you stop and think, this was back in 2015, 2014, 2015, 2016, and the Mueller report tells us that the Russians helped Donald Trump get into office. Okay, so not only did they help, what did he do? Donald Trump, wow, when you think about it like that, okay? Vladimir Putin's covert war on the United States, if he put Trump in office, helped put Trump in office, which I believe he did, which the Mueller report plays out. That's true. There's many ways that they've been influencing Orla. Thank you for pointing that out in the chat. But then that means that if you stop and think, because I made a video about how Donald Trump, it's on there somewhere. I'll have to put that one up here. Donald Trump has unalived more Americans through his incompetence, intentional, willful, misleading, misinformation, etc., throughout the COVID pandemic. I made a video stating that he had unalived more Americans than the Mustache Man and Japan during World War II. Okay. But, all right, so that's X. Let's put that over here. But if you take into consideration the fact that Putin helped him get into office, and also Putin and the Russian government donated all the money, take all the deaths that have happened to American citizens, especially children, kids, who have been unalived because of the money that was put into the GOP and the NRA, and then spread out into the gun world, and people bought guns, and those guns end up unaliving people. When you put that together with how many people Trump, another instrument of Putin, right, helped unalive Americans, then really the question isn't did Trump or blah, but it's really Putin, Vladimir Putin, in his covert war against America, using both the NRA and the conservatives and Donald Trump and his cootie policies, unalived probably twice as many Americans. That's just Americans. That's not everybody else included, who got the cooties because of, right? Would half of the people in Canada have been unalived had America treated it correctly and been, right? You know what I'm saying? Those kinds of ancillary, secondary, tertiary. Lots of Aries. So that's my thinking. Yeah. So Vladimir Putin, in his covert war on America, using Donald Trump and the GOP and the NRA, has unalived a lot of people. And I'm going to talk about it tonight on the show. So, one God, many different faces. Yes. Can we take a moment to shout out all the MAGA pastors who get the plastic surgery? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Why do they even bother? Why? Every time I see one of those really hardcore believing pastors who has, glasses on, I'm like, ooh, how's that power going for you? All right, so let me finish reading our chat here, catching up. Russia's been interfering. They are literally influencing the culture war, which is driving people to treat each other like that. Absolutely. The Russian government has been really... Okay, all right. Let's continue this little thing. The Russian government has been funding right-wing conservative groups on Facebook and YouTube and other things. Recently, they were shut down, and of course, I didn't prepare for this part of it, right? But they shut down, I think, last week, this Russian-backed website that the people who were running it, allegedly, wink, wink, didn't know they were being supported by the Russians, were sitting there spreading out. It was 10 websites and all this other stuff, at least, blah, 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 that were doing this. I'm going to research that for tonight's show. But you know what I mean? That, too, is another fantastic example. And then here I go. I'm sitting here trolling Facebook, right? Again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I am the most left-wing nutbag you've ever seen. And whenever I'm scrolling on my Facebook, the Book of Faces, and I see right-wing crap, now I know. The algorithm goes, wait, that dude just paused on that. I did pause on it. I paused on it long enough to either report it for being misinformation for social issues or whatever, whenever they come out and they go, look, Taylor Swift's partnering up with Rosie O'Donnell for an anti-woke party. And they're trying to sell that, really, Taylor Swift? That's just clearly misinformation but what I've realized is that not only is that's funded by the Russian government. That is conservative right-wing propaganda being spread on Facebook, and you'll look and it'll all be the same like text and headers and stuff, different words, right? But the same kind of spiel and things. There'll be 15 or 20 of them come up in my Facebook over a few days. One of them will be like, oh, look, Hulk Hogan. And then it'll be some hero like Gavin Newsom agrees to campaign with Hulk Hogan, and they're buddies now, and he's come over to our side, or something stupid like that. It's it's muddying the water. It's just muddying the water. And it's intentional misinformation, disinformation. And it's backed by these Russian groups who pay money to the conservatives. I asked on the show, I was like, now, I said, where do these people get all this money? And the answers were obviously billionaires. Clearly, it only takes one crazy billionaire to do that sort of thing. We know. However, you don't have to have cray billionaires like Elon Musk funneling money to these right-wing groups on Facebook, etc. You don't have to do that because the Russians are doing it. They're doing it. They're giving it to these right-wing party groups. I get crap views on my videos. Maybe my stuff is crap. I don't know. It looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I watch my content. I go back and watch my content. I got a lot of content. And I drop videos. I got crap views. Then I go and I see these other people, especially religious people, pushing their nutbaggery, and they can be just as hateful as they can be. And they get thousands and thousands of views. So I send off these little letters to Facebook or to YouTube going, hey, man, I'm requesting you guys look at my channel. And yet nothing. But the right-wing crap, it's just everywhere, especially on Facebook. Pardon me. Again, I'm scrolling along and I'm seeing something else being shoved at me. It's some lie about Tim Walz. Oh, is this really his dog? He's a constant liar. This isn't his dog. I'm like, man. So, left-wing voices, I don't feel, get enough help from the social media. We don't have any funding. Nobody funds us, I mean, there's no money. There's no money. I do this because I'm crazy. I'm compulsed. I do this because I have nothing else to do, or, I want to avoid those things. Like, I just want to, what are you going to do? You go to that responsible thing? No. I would come over here and work on a show that makes no money. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But the right wing, you see these guys, they're like, what the hell? How are they getting all the views and funding? And just, it's crazy. Well, that's where they get it from. People trying to undermine our government, our society. It's the Russian Vladimir Putin situation going on there. Trump's big papa. So whenever you go back and you look at it, basically what I said it right here. Vladimir Putin's covert war on America has cost more American lives than World War II did. I'd almost bet World War II and World War I. I'm going to have to spend some time today. Of course, again, there's part of it you really can't figure up. Maybe I can just go and ask the AI because, AI is powerfully reliable. You go ask the AI and go, hey, listen, give me a curve chart, right? And go, based on how many American deaths by guns in the country, like give me that arc. How many was there before known Russian intelligence? And then what happened to that line after that Russian intelligence came in? Give me a chart like that we can use. And then that's as best as I could close. Then I could go, all right, now, give me an estimate of how many Americans, just Americans, who were unalived because of Donald Trump misleading them about COVID. Going so far as to tinker with the website, right? The federal website. I'm sorry, what's it called? I always forget what it's called. You guys know what it's called. That's website for sick people. Anyway, but you know what I'm talking about. They all those lives. And now, again, just this week, somebody will say it. They'll be like, oh, it's that place. I'm going to catch up with the chat here in just a second. But you know what I mean? I mean, it's just, it kills me. And I see on this news all the time, another person, another individual, another soul, if you will, lost to gun violence, either gun violence or just gun accidents, or just, willful ignorance. Every day It's not just one. It's not like you can pull up the news and go, oh, wow, look at that. Oh, my goodness, I'm shocked. A mother just unalived herself and 3 children in a car with a gun. That's odd. Right? Once, maybe a year. Remember back in the day, it used to be huge news. Oh man, it was huge news whenever a mother did something like that. Now it just kind of barely is a blip. It's barely a blip compared to all the other things going on. Yes, that happened. What I said happened. But also the other things I said happened. You know? A mother left her 8-year-old in the car. He's no longer with us. A mother left 4 children home alone. One of them is no longer with us. My understanding is it was the twin of the one that has been unalive that accidentally did it. You know, how do you live with that when you're 7 or 8? You know, but thankfully the gun was there for them to have, right? And whenever you take into account, man, I'm all going off on guns. I was going to do something else today, but damn. But as you can tell, I'm a little bit passionate. Let's see. You know, they're true. Let me go back onto the chat and get my head straight here. Thank you, Orla, for being reasonable here. Can we take a moment to shout out to all the MAGA pastors? Okay, we did that. That's not what they want. Russia has been interfering. That's right. Not the only way. They are literally influencing the culture war, which is driving. That's exactly correct. Yes, I kind of covered that. There's more to that. Yes, there's more to that. You have a report from the MI6 talking about how they're doing that. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are. Very much they are. The Russia. You know, I was saying this back in 2019. On the Daily Atheist Morning Show back in 2019. I wish I was, of course, I was. Gosh. Okay. All right, I'll be okay. I need my blood pressure medicine this morning. Let me go back here and read Orla's final. It's not necessarily the fact that letting people donate money don't get money. It's the fact that the social media sites that are popular or are headed by right-wing people pull Elon Musk in particular. You know, Twitter is extremist. They're horrible. Yes, and they've given up any pretense now. I don't understand, my friends. I don't understand. I see something on the news, right, or in the news, and I'm like, hey, look at that. That's a news article. And I pop over there, and then like somebody did something stupid, or they posted something over on Twitter that was stupid, or Twitter X that was stupid. I'm like, cool, let's go check that out. And then in the comments, I see a bunch of left-wing people on there, my friends, my heroes. You know, I'm gonna shout out. Let's see, let's shout out to Robert Picardo. Love the man, loving. And if I'm misremembering, then that's unfortunate. But I see him, and man, Elon Musk says, man, I sure want some kind of Star Trek-like future. And on X, Robert Picardo, my hero, responds and says, well, you know what? Then maybe you should support policies that are lean towards that and stop supporting dictators. And he really smacked Elon Musk down. Pow! And I was like, hooah! And then I thought, what are you doing on Twitter? X, I mean. Why are you, just by being there on his platform, you're supporting him? You know? That bothers me. There's a thing that makes me go, why? When you know you're supporting that kind of garbage. Why? You know, but I get it. Some people are, that's the platform they're on. I don't know. I'm just trying to, sometimes I take off my glasses when I see more than I can understand. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of, no, you know, Orla, I figured that whenever I read that, whenever you said that's why I paused and kind of fumbled through what I was getting. No worries. I understand I appreciate you. Thank you for, yes, I make a lot. I type all the time. No worries. All right. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to find my inner peace. No, I will not be touching myself during the show. Sorry. Go to the OnlyFans, my OnlyFans site. Ann Benedictson. Ann, you're wonderful. You're just wonderful. You're wonderful. Yes. Thank you very much for always liking the show over on Facebook. Yeah, people over on Facebook watch my show. Surprises me too. They're awesome though. The ones that really surprised me was Salt of the Red Earth. There you are. No TikTok. No. Yeah, I'm kind of frustrated. No X. You heard my feelings on X. Despite the fact that I mention it all the time. I do TikTok. I spread my left-wing nutbaggery on TikTok as Chris Mallard, the Chris Mallard Show. But I don't, it's a brain suck. Okay. Awesome sauce. I was trying to stream to TikTok, but TikTok does not like me. If I play a commercial by me and Andy, that one of the ones that we did, TikTok no likey. It'll stop. It'll keep streaming, and if you're watching, it'll keep letting you watch, but it stops showing it to other people. I'll get like 200 views in just a few short minutes, and then bam, it'll say, hey, look, I'll play a commercial, because you know how my shows start. I open a commercial, blah blah blah. And yeah, but it doesn't like that. So, yes, let me just catch up. Yes, good to see you. It's good to see you, Salt of the Red Earth. I was going to stalk you on YouTube and go, where are you? You were here. You were awesome. I want you back. You were awesome. Hey, you're awesome. Okay, so I'm going to play this thing here. It's about monotheism. And now, if you watched yesterday's show, I did some Shakespeare. And I did some of it with an English accent because I was doing an old show. So today's show, I'm going to play for you. I'm hesitant because people don't often see me like this. Here we go. I'm going to do it. This is today's topic besides guns. And I suspect we're going to talk about guns again before we go too much further. Anyway, today's topic was supposed to be about the difference between monotheistic religions and polytheistic religions. And of course, depending on your view of Christianity, it is a polytheistic religion. But here we go. Peep this, my homies. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, click the little notification bell, because, right, if you don't click the notification bell, you go to hell. It's straight to hell. So. Hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist. Do you think one God is meaner than two gods, or meaner than 100 gods, or whatever? Because, some people think that God, Allah, from the Judeo-Christian religion, is a bad actor. And he is. He's a bad guy. A bad guy. And there are examples of other religions that are polytheistic that are not as violent. I mean, there's no comparison between the Norse religions of Thor and Odin and their violence, the violence bred by their followers, and the violence of the followers of the Abrahamic religions. There's no comparison. Now, however, that being said, there is a comparison between, or could be a comparison drawn between the Mexican, South American gods of the Aztecs and Incas and stuff like that, where they used to kill thousands of people, on top of pyramids and blah, 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 blah. So it just kind of depends, Obviously, the Norse gods didn't do that sort of thing. So we call them, we think of them as being more peaceful, or I do anyway, more peaceful than these other religions where they required the sacrifice of lots of people for whatever purposes or reasons. Now, the Judeo-Christian religion, man, it's not like that with them. With the South American religions, they kill people to appease God, to make it rain, or to get a good harvest, or those kind of things, to make the sun come up every day, that kind of thing. Judeo-Christians don't kill for those reasons. It's, my God is better than your God. Even if we both worship the same God, you're not worshiping it right, and therefore I'm going to kill you. Am I wrong? I mean, that's all they need, or have needed throughout history, is just, we're all Catholic, but you guys have pictures in your church, so we're going to burn down your church. Or whatever. All they need is a reason, a difference between this Christian and that Christian. And they start slaughtering each other. They don't believe that if they do this, the sun is still going to come up tomorrow, or that they're going to get a good harvest, or that it's going to rain, or anything like that. No, they're just doing it, because your God is lesser, or you're not worshiping the right God, or blah, 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 blah. So, in my opinion, based on the religions we have as an example set, I believe that the Judeo-Christian religion is one of the ugliest, nastiest pieces of work ever. It's just disgusting. But to say that it's not as bad, or it's worse than some or all polytheistic religions would be wrong, because the polytheistic religions of South America, again, they intentionally murdered people. But the deal with Christianity is that Christ was sacrificed. They took him up on the Christian pyramid, and they cut his throat, and they cut out his heart, and they cut off his head, and they rolled his body down the foot of the steps of the Christian pyramid, so they never have to do that again, allegedly. Right? So, but still, it's the same thing. Murder, death, kill, blood worship, death, and the notion that you can kill somebody else, or you can, heave your sins on somebody else and then kill that person and your sins are absolved. That's just stupid. That's craziness. It's craziness. I said it. It's craziness now. It's craziness a long time ago. But to know, again, back to the original point, that polytheistic religions are less violent than monotheistic religions. Well, technically, I guess, based on our example set, they probably are, less violent overall. I would guess that would depend, like when we're talking about the Southern, the South American Aztec, Incan kind of religions, it really depended on which god they were talking to at the time. So they could be as violent as it's almost as if their war god, their blood god, is the same as God. And he got rid of all the other gods, the good and nice ones, and just became their god. And that's kind of what happened over in the Middle East. In fact, with Islam, there used to be a whole plethora of other gods, and then their war god, Baal or well, I screwed things up, didn't I? Yeah. Anyway, you get the point I was trying to make there, that at some point back in the day, the war god of that region pretty much won out and got rid of all the other gods, and that's what we got left. That's where I was going. So the topic, about, and Orla has some great points. The Norse mythology, see, that's the whole thing. I'm familiar with it. I'm with you. I am. I'm picking up what you're putting down. There were some bad things that happened in Norse mythology. You don't have people dressing up as a Norse god and unaliving themselves in a marketplace with a bunch of people. You don't have a book that comes from the Norse religion that propagates that kind of thinking. You don't have widespread continent-consuming wars based on the writings in the Viking text. There's a difference. And that's what the question is. But the point, what I was trying to make in the video, by the time I got eventually to the end of the video, I've been tinkering with the show here, trying to get the chat to work here. And by the way, Andy Hall is watching. In case you didn't notice, Andy Hall is watching the show. So I've got to give a shout out to Andy Hall. I'm getting part of the reason why I'm having so much trouble with the chat and all is because I'm running multiple streams at the same time, and it's kind of tricky, but I'll get there. I'm getting there. As you guys can see, it's coming along. Anyway, sort of. But that's kind of the thing. The difference is significant between those two, but really, it's kind of just a matter of like in a pantheon, or they can have a blood god too, and it can shed some blood, a lot of blood, and that was proven by the Aztecs, and and there was the notion that they can be, as mentioned. There's a lot of chat that's going on. I was tinkering there, and I read some of it. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. Okay, so you get it. It's not necessarily, I'm not against either one. Again, Vikings could be their mythology could be just as unfortunate as that of the Abrahamic religion. But I very much doubt it. I'm going through the Evil God Monster of Abraham series, and I very much doubt that anything the Vikings have going on, and certainly not in volume either. But now we're just talking about necessarily followers and how much effort they put in over time, blah, blah. It's not really giving them equal footing when you compare, monotheists versus polytheists. So in my thing, I eventually got around it just depends on who it is, what they, because if they've got an angry God among gods and they really listen to that angry God among gods, their war god, well, bad things can happen, and in great numbers. Anyway, so that was it. I'm gonna do one of our things real quick. Since I've got Andy, let's throw back with some Andy here. Some of my favorites here. Let's do this one.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you are possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science.
One of my favorite commercials. So thank you, Andy Hall, for that. I appreciate it very much. I've got some of those. Like I said, if I was streaming to TikTok, it would instantly go, hey, we don't like this commercial. Now, this is something I want to say. TikTok, of course, is, correct me if I'm wrong, but man, every time, it loves repeat content. It loves, LUVS, loves whenever you take my video and share it. Loves it. Loves it if you do it. Loves it if you put your face on top of it. I mean, it's got whole sections of it built specifically for resharing the same content over and over and over again. And I'm sitting here and I'm going through the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and I'm, kicking it here with my homies. And all of a sudden I look up at TikTok and it's like, hey, and I run a commercial. When I run one of those commercials, all of a sudden it's like, hey, you can't do that. It's repeat content. Well, what I have done is I've since built the show, and you notice I've got everything in little boxes now. And part of the reason why, because I actually kind of like having my commercials full screen, my promos full screen. But I'm kind of trying to, hopefully, trick TikTok into letting me go ahead and run it, because it does look different. I don't know if it's going to work. And to be honest, I did that, and then I just turned off TikTok. I just don't even bother. I'm going to focus on YouTube, and I'm just streaming to Facebook and a couple others because it's a little button. I can just click stream to those two. But really, I'm going to focus on YouTube. Why? I don't know. They're all just, I don't know, because it's familiar. Anyway, so Andy Hall, I got a text from him. He's looking here on the YouTube. That's awesome. Thank you, Andy, for joining us. And I appreciate your help on the commercials, man. You're awesome. You're the best. We'll have to do more. And there's so much fodder out there today. Yeah. Things have changed. Things have gotten better. Thank you, Biden. Things have gotten worse. And I remember, and this is going to be great fodder for us to talk about. I remember that I was this is something I go on about, how I was so proud of America when Obama was president. And I watched the right-wing hate grow, during his presidency. But I was so proud. I didn't realize it was going to come back so strongly against us. And it cost us so much. The cost was so dear, I was going on about, Trump and the deaths caused by his mishandling of the cooties. So it's just one of those things that okay, moving on. Sorry. Let's stick to other stuff. Let's not stick to other stuff. Okay, so back then we said it was going to happen. Now there was a huge backlash whenever Obama, let's just say it, right? There was a huge backlash whenever Obama left office because it was been building up for 8 years from the right-wing hate mongers and trash. Kamala Harris, I feel, is going to win. The Lord has spoken to me, and Kamala Harris is going to win. I feel it. I feel very hopeful that Kamala Harris is going to win. And I feel there's going to be a backlash. You know, now whenever we had Obama, he was a black man, and that was bad enough. He was a black man, but he was a Democrat, like not a progressive, really, more of an old school kind of Democrat kind of guy, you know. And he really tried hard to work with the Republicans, and they just wouldn't work with him. It was just more of a, you know, he'd step closer to them, they'd step back and ask him to meet in the middle. He'd step closer to them, they'd step back and ask him to meet in the middle, and he did, and it was a dance, you know. He did good things, but I don't think they're going to get that out of Kamala Harris. No. I think that I'd really like to see us take the House, the Senate, the whole ball of wax, and see what the Democrats can do. See what the progressive, liberal Democrats, whatever the heck you want to call us now, because we're all a conglomeration against fascism, which has become the right. So, you know, all right, so that's going to happen. I feel that. And then what's going to happen? What kind of backlash are we going to have? Now, I don't really like to speak ill in this fashion publicly of people. However, let me just say it in as friendly a way as I can say. I have doubts that if Kamala Harris becomes president, I don't know, is Donald Trump healthy enough to make it to another election cycle? You know, physically. If she makes it through 2 and gets 8 years, where's he going to be in 8 years, you know? I don't know. I don't really know that he's going to be so much of a vessel, thankfully, when this backlash happens. But I do believe there will be a backlash. And my hope is that we as a nation will have grown enough that we can survive it without losing to another right-wing conservative nutbag president like we did with Donald Trump, who's going to make us look like fools all over the country, all over the world, and then intentionally harm our own nation and intentionally unalive our own citizens. Yeah, I said intentionally. Yeah, you go look at some of my videos. I am not a Trump fan. So that's my thinking, you know. There's going to be a backlash, and throughout now, the political times we have now and we have coming forward or going forward throughout this, there needs to be people like me and like Andy there making fun of those people. Yeah. You know, it's supposed to be funnier. I'm having a hard time today with the comedy. It's just that stuff with the guns is really on my head. But you see what I mean? I mean, it's going to need people on the left wing would use their voices, get them out there, and fight against this oncoming onslaught of hate that's coming. And as mentioned earlier in the show, which I'm surprised I can even remember what the hell I was talking about at the beginning of the show, the left doesn't have the funding the right has. Or if they do, I haven't found it. I like it whenever these right-wing people on there and they go, these atheists just take all the money from Soros or whatever, and you're making a living off the hurts of America. I ain't making nothing. You know, most of us don't. I don't figure. I mean, it's fun. I get it. I dig it. You know, I mean, it'd be nice to make a tiny little bit, but we just don't have the funds for that. And yet I go back to my YouTube and I'm scrolling on my YouTube and there's some right-wing hate monger. Got his live stream up talking about his lies about, you know, of course, I don't know, you know. I don't know how they get away with it. And have, you know, 500, 1,500 live viewers. Their little chats just scrolling slow-mo. You know? I don't know. It's a thing. Of course, it could just be that my show sucks. I've seen worse shows. But, you know, hey, even when me and Andy were working together, me, Andy, Nakasuchi, and the other hosts I had, you know, I mean, the top of the show after running it solid every day of the week for a year with you know, Sundays, I think was the only day we didn't run because it's the Lord's day. But, you know, after that, we were pushing 50 or 60 live viewers, you know, and I think I had fairly decent production value, tech gremlins aside. But, you know, whenever you go look at something similar from the other side, and I don't know, again, man, I don't know. I don't want to lament too much about those things. It just bothers me. And the reason why it just kind of all ties back together, you know, the funneling of money into the right wing that supports the guns that support the things that happen in our nation. These deaths, you know, that have been happening. Again, if you're familiar with what happened yesterday, there was the unfortunate event that happened in Georgia. Another repeat event. Yeah. And then there were numerous other events I've already listed in the show, you know, of individuals unaliving each other or themselves accidentally or on purpose just this week. Just, I mean, stories that each and every one of them would have been a horrific news-breaking nationwide story that it would be on everybody's lips 20 years ago, you know. But nowadays, it's just another blip, you know. It's sort of like Trump and his lies. You know, at first, you know, lies like Trump does, if you threw him back in the GOP and he's running for office 25 years ago, even they would have laughed him out of. There was no way. That took time to build up. It built up through the hate mentioned earlier, through the Obama, you know. And now we have these damn guns everywhere. Guns everywhere. Everybody and their dog has a gun, you know. And these fools, you know, there's another school shooting. And during that school shooting, damn it, I keep saying it again. YouTube's going to hate me anyway. I can't keep up. Anyway, there's another one. And are the conservatives going to run out and put bandages on themselves in solidarity with the victims? Are they going to do that like they did with Donald Trump? Hell no, they're not going to do that like they did with Donald Trump. Are they going to burn their guns like they did with Nike, with the shoes and the shirts whenever they were offended? No, they're not going to. No. They're going to run and they're going to hug their guns. They're going to be, oh no. Hey. Yeah. So I got to find my zen. I got to find my happy place. The more I think about it, the more, and then again, the more I connect, because I'm some sort of, what do you call it? Like a conspiracy theorist, I guess, left-wing conspiracy theorist, because of the chain of financial support leading directly from Vladimir Putin to the NRA, to the conservatives who support the NRA and push those policies for the NRA. That money goes from there to there to there, converts into policies, then gets converted into gun buys, then gets converted into the blood of our children. Yeah, it's kind of hard to be a happy, lovey morning show. I need funny. Let's do something funny. All right, here we go.
Hello all, Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. I mean, annual solstice awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh wait, it's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I mean, a happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing. But do it.
All right, so I feel better, a little self-soothing. Yeah, so in case you missed it, I'm locking myself into it. I'm gonna run a stream tonight. My wife and I have been. I always throw my wife in there. She's like my sounding board, my partner that helps me think. She's the other half of my brain. The better half, as it were. But we've been talking. I'm going to run a stream, and I'm going to do a live stream talking politics. It's just going to be all politics in the evening. No, I mean, obviously we'll still talk religion, but it's not going to be religion kind of based. It's going to be 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'd like to get some folks to pop in. You know, Andy, of course, if Andy's available. That'd be. Did I say all right? So 6 Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what I said, but it should be 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna run a live show. It's not gonna be the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It's gonna have a different name. It's yeah. I've been thinking. I don't know if I'm gonna call it the Dang Show and stick with the Daily Atheist and go with a nightly gathering, Daily Atheist nightly gathering, the Daily Dang Show, and it'd be more about having people. More people, you know, a group of gathering of people talking. But they're still called the Daily Atheist, and still got that atheist kind of thing. So I might host it over on the Chris Mallard Show channel and give it a different name. I don't know, man. I've been trying to think, but I got to get my voice out there. I love the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It's great. I sit here and I'm like, oh, yeah, let's find out some religious stuff to what's going on in the crazy world. And I put my Evil God Monster of Abraham series out there, and I do these kind of things. But really, what's going on in our world is just so pervasive and in your face, you know, and I just got to say my piece about it. So I'm gonna start that other show. Yeah. And I'm locking myself into doing it because you folks, you know, if I say I will, unless I say I'm going to today, I don't seem to ever do. I'm ready. It won't take very much to reskin this show and then to stream it out to either my Chris Mallard channel, the Chris Mallard Show channel, or back on this channel under a different, you know, show name. So we'll figure it out. But that's what I'm going to do. I tell you what, I'm fixing to wrap this up. It really has, man. I appreciate you guys for bearing with me, those of you who are bearing with me. Thank you, YouTube. But it hasn't exactly been the funnest of Daily Atheist Morning Shows. And I just got to admit, part of the reason why is because I'm just so wrapped up and bent about what's going on in the world. Yes, and that's where I stand today. So I'm going to run another one. You know, here's a couple of things. Let me do this right here for fun. Yeah, that was kind of cute right there. I don't have those other ones set up. This, I think, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, two snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man, you're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on YouTube? If you close your eyes, it doesn't count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care. Peace.
All right. So, Sadie, our elderly lady here. This is our hi. She's Sadie. She's a cavapoo. She's wonderful. Someday she can be tasty and delicious. Yes, she is. Hi. How are you? I'm going to wrap up the show as usual. I like to shout out to the local rescues. If you're, if you don't have a dog, I've got 5, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 5. She's the oldest. Hi. And then of course, and here's our newest, our Ollie dog. He really doesn't like being on the camera, but he's powerfully cute. And he's like a little Ori. He's a little Ori. So if you're out there and you don't have a dog, or if you don't have too many dogs, I think I may have too many dogs. Get yourself a dog. Support, adopt. Go do that thing. I want to make sure I support that. I'd like to find out if I can get some links to put in the show down the bottom. So I wish I could figure out where to take you to a local place, but everywhere is local elsewhere. You know what I mean? But thank you for joining me on the show today. I very much appreciate you. Again, I'm going to run a show tonight. I don't know how many of you will get the notification. Hopefully you'll get it and you'll watch it and we'll have a good time, and we'll see what happens as we go over the craziness going on in our world in the left-wing politics sphere. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. I am off to save the world. Oh wait, you know what? Let me give you one more Andy. Can I give you one more Andy commercial? Here we go. Since we're doing this, let's do this.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
All right, guys. I'm going to go do the thing at the place with the stuff for the people because I got a show to put on tonight somehow. It may end up just be me rattling. I don't have a lot of left-wing friends right now. It's just I figure I'm going to do something to get some people up, and we're going to talk about this anti-right-wing nutbaggery that we got going on. Don't forget to adopt, spay, neuter your Republican, pets. And take care. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.